everyone surviving so far. Nope, they are not getting hit.
Look at goes forward. What a move! That's some late braking, and that's what you want to see. Monster pressure put on the McLaren driver, but he's dealing with it like a boss.
Hello and welcome guys to the stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Let me just check my mic is definitely working. It is. So tonight we are going to do some practice for Indianapolis. We have a race on Friday night, the final of the SimZone series. So I haven't done any practice yet, so we're just going to load up the default aggressive setup, jump in the hot lap session. I'll just double check that it is definitely I'll just double check it is definitely supposed to be dry, as I did forget to check, because if it's dry I can just use the hot lap server. Let me just check. Oh, they haven't actually put in the weather settings yet, so I'm going to just jump in the hot lap server and we'll use the default setup. Just got to respond to a message quickly. So let me just have a look here. It's the Apex hot lap server. How is everyone doing in the stream tonight? Is there the Apex online? That's a good point actually. There is a new season of Apex Online Racing and I had no idea about it until I heard someone on Twitch, I think, post that it was round 1, the practice or something for it, and I was like, I didn't even know that it was qualifiers had even started for it, so I completely missed that. Right, just give me 1 second and I'll just be back in 1 second. Right, so what we'll do is, like I say, we're just going to build a setup. So start with the default aggressive, just lower the fuel and change the brake pads. I'm just going to go 20 litres, brake pads 1, and we will just adjust from this. So starting off with the default setup, and I will just save that as V1, just so I have so I can do it for these tire temps. There we go. Fine, thanks. How are you? Good to hear. All good here. Was working today. It was quite hot. It was nice to have the sunny weather, but I think that's like the hottest day we've had this year, I think, because it was like 27 degrees at one point. But yeah, I just was looking for my gloves there, but I went karting last night, as I said. Was it Sunday? I said that I would be going karting on the Monday, and I left it inside my helmet. That's why I couldn't find the gloves. Should probably get myself, once I've got a karting suit and that, I'll probably get myself a second pair of gloves, so I've got one for karting and one for sim racing. But it would probably be the same colour again. It would just be these same ones. So there might not actually be any point really, because I only go karting a couple times a month, I would say now. But I went karting on the Monday night, and I did 3 sessions. The first session, it was the same car that I was in the last time I was there, and it felt good. The second car was the worst car I've driven there. The third car was really good and felt really grippy. So apart from the second car I got, it was really nice. And I think my best lap was like half a tenth of a second slower than the last time I was there. So it was very, very close. So I'll hopefully be going soon. Too hot to work in. yeah, it was really hot. I just made sure to drink tons, but it was really hot. Wasn't so when you were in the shade, it was great, to be honest, because it was really warm, but you weren't baking in the sun. But when you're just in the sun cleaning, it was quite. It makes you a lot more tired when it's really hot like that. Were you working today, or did you get some of the garden done? Definitely gonna have to spend quite a bit of time with this setup. The default setup is not great. It's very, very stable, but extremely understeering. Yeah, it's quite good because Dundee's so close. Since we're so close to the Jokarja, it doesn't take that long to get to the track, and it's not bad price either, because I've got membership. So the membership costs 35 quid for the year, and it takes off 35% every time you go, like 35% of what it would cost. So like a 40 quid session is like 26 quid for me, so it's actually really, really good price for the amount of time you get on the cart. So like I went on the Monday and I did 45 minutes, and it was only like £20 and 50 pence or something, which isn't bad at all, really. I mean, if I went once a week, you know, that's like 80 quid a month. That's not actually that bad for going karting every week. But I think I'm going to save up and get a suit, but I'm going to wait like a month or two, because I think I might be going away soon. So I want to save some money for that, but then once I get back, then I'll probably get a karting suit. I did see the exact suit I was looking at getting where I was working. Someone was selling one second hand, hardly used, but it was just a bit small. It was like an extra small, and I'm usually a small, and I didn't really want a suit that was short, because otherwise you're just gonna have like bare arms. It's not going to cover all your arms, because my arm and length is probably like a medium, but a medium suit is like too wide on me, so it feels really baggy. So a small fits really well, but I usually find that it's a bit short on the sleeves. But I do have long gloves, so you don't notice as much with the karting suits. But I think I'll also get like a rib protector as well, because the rib protectors aren't actually that expensive, but it saves you wrecking your ribs if you have a crash. For the indoor stuff, you don't really need a rib protector, because the karts have bumpers on them, whereas if you do any outdoor karting, they don't usually have bumpers. So if you hit a cart, or you get hit by another cart, then that's when they go over the top of each other. But the indoor ones are really hard to do that, because they have the bumper all the way around. I think I'll do one more lap, and then we're going to adjust the setup, because the default is very bad. Oh, you got some of the materials delivered yesterday, but still waiting on the posts. Did you order the posts from the same place? Or are they from different companies? Because the posts were the things you were wanting to get done first, wasn't it? I hate that right-hander so much. I either get it perfect or I'm in the wall. Oh, very exciting for you. Yeah, the British Indoor Karting Championship, one of the tracks you can qualify is Dundee, and there's like 3 months to qualify, so I'm hoping I can qualify, but we'll see. Right, let's adjust the setup. I'm going to make a number of changes, and then you will go from there. Oops, what's going on? There we go. Sorry about that. Same place, exactly, out of stock, so waiting for them to come in. Oh, that's a pain then. It's a pain, the first thing you need is out of stock. That is a pain. I'm going to turn TC2 off. Leave ABS at 4, TC4. I'm going to reduce the brake bias considerably. Going to reduce the rear wing by 1 click. Actually, nah, go 2 clicks. Felt fine. Reduce the front ride height, and then give us max camber as well. And then a bit more caster. And then we'll try this and then adjust from here. But I just adjusted a number of things and we'll slowly find out what works. I think in the BMW, when this track first came out, like the first time I did this track with the BMW, I think I did like a 35.2, but I raced, what did I race here last time? Oh, that's what it was, in the RCI 6 Hour series. I think round, was it round 3 or 4 was at this track. So I'll just check what the world record is. I think it's a 34? Let me just check. I just want to see what kind of lap times we need to get down to. Because we got ones like Surfwatch. Yeah, it's a 34. 34.2 is the world record. But the world record in the Ferrari is surprisingly a 34.987. So the world record for the Ferrari is about 7/10 slower than the world record in the Lamborghini here. And what's interesting is both of those lap times are set by the same driver. And he's got the world record in the Lamborghini, but he's also set the Ferrari world record, but it's like 7/10 of a second slower. So that's actually quite surprising, because the Ferrari used to be quite good at Indianapolis. So yeah, basically the world record is a 34.9, and then the second best in the Ferrari is a 35.1. So really for Friday we want to be down in the 35 highs at least, getting down to the 35 highs in the hot lap session. So we'll see how we get on. Like I say, the Porsche, I think we did quite good lap times, but that I did spend quite a while doing the setup for the Porsche. I'm sure I spent at least a week on that because that was an endurance one. But for the SimZone race we've got on Friday, it's a 15-minute quali with a 60-minute race, so it's not that long, because there's a pit stop halfway through the 60-minute race. It's more really considered a sprint race really. It's only 60 minutes. So we'll just slowly adjust things and see what works and what doesn't here. Immediately I have much more rotation in the car. I think I've maybe lost a touch of the stability, as you can see, but that might just be the cold tires. Sorry I missed your last message, Grandad. Hopefully they'll arrive in the next day or two. Yeah, hopefully they come before you, when you wanted them to get done, because I think you said you wanted them done this week or next. So hopefully they arrive in time. It's been good. It's been quite. It looks like it's quite dry weather, but I heard something about there's like some sort of storms coming or something next week. So hopefully you're able to get them done before they come. Also, it's nice and dry. I think you can lay concrete when it's wet, but it can't be soaking wet, something like that. Can't remember, because I'm sure Ben said something about when it's just a little bit of rain it's okay, but if there's too much then it affects it drying. Because obviously to make concrete you have to put in a considerable amount of water. So some rain's okay, but if it's really bad then you don't really want to be laying too much concrete. Oh, the rear is a bit snappy now. I like the rotation that the setup changes gave, definitely, but I need to make a few adjustments in the mechanical grip because I don't like how snappy this is. I seem to just snap. The car just snaps when I put the throttle down, which just costs you lap time because you spend more time sliding instead of accelerating. I haven't got a decent lap together yet, but just want to see what the car feels like. Yeah, it hopefully shouldn't take long to set. Oh no! Completely messed up the braking point there. Okay, so I'm able to stabilize the car with my braking and throttle input slightly. Definitely wants to snap a lot more than it did with the default setup, but that's to be expected because this is a lot more aggressive. But I'll make some more setup adjustments because I only made a couple. I also really need to adjust the dampers once we sort the rest of the setup, because the dampers don't feel great over the curbs at all, to be honest. Oh, too much sliding. I think the rear roll bars may be a bit stiff as well. Tire pressures are completely wrong, so I'll need to increase them. That'll maybe change how the car feels a bit. Yeah, see that? Just a little bit too much sliding there. Just gonna make a couple more setup adjustments, and then we'll go out again. Okay, so the rear was a bit snappy, so I'm going to change just a couple things. I think I'm gonna increase the rear wing by 1 click and reduce the rear ride height by 1 click. I'm then going to decrease the rear wheel rate and the front wheel rate. I can't even speak at the moment. Increase the brake bias just by 2 clicks. Front roll bar, gonna leave it on 3. Bump stop rate on the rears seems quite high. I'm going to put it up 1 click, but put the bump stop range down 5 clicks. And then the preload differential I'll put up 3 clicks, and the rear anti-roll bar is on 2. So just going to try this, and if we improve then I'll save this setup and before we make any further adjustment, because that seems to be okay. But yeah, the car didn't feel too bad there. It did want to slide a lot. That's the only thing I found. It does remind me, I forgot to adjust one thing. I forgot to add telemetry maps, because that's turned off with the default setup. So I'm just turning that on, so that when we are ready to do the dampers, it's actually set up to record dampers. We've got quite a bit extra fuel than what we would have for a quali run, but this is more testing the setup. Put up the tire pressures a little bit, so we'll try and see what they're like. Probably need to adjust them again. So I'd like to sort what I usually would like to do, sort the mechanical grip until I'm happy with it, play around with the toe angles and the caster angles until I'm happy with it, and do the dampers as well. I usually do the dampers actually before or after the toe angles. It just depends. Like if Zolder, I would probably do dampers probably even before I finish the mechanical grip. I do that quite early. But a track like this where there isn't actually that many bumps or anything you've got to worry about, I usually do dampers near the end once the rest of the setup is sorted. So immediately that feels a bit more stable, although it lacks a little bit of turning. It seemed a little bit understeery on the turning, but definitely feels a lot more stable on the throttle. That was too much curb. that was definitely too much curb. It was a flat curb, but that would have been invalid. I think I can brake much later for that corner, that was far too early. The default damper settings don't seem to be too bad though, in all honesty. They feel quite good, to be honest, but then there isn't that many curbs at this track. If anything, I would make them just slightly softer. Okay, that felt quite good. That felt quite nice. My line was wrong, but that was my driving. The setup felt fine. A little bit snappy through there. There is a couple bumps there, so that might have been the dampers, I don't know. Or the bump stop rate. Oh, I turned in far too late for the right-hander there. Okay, so I need to make a few adjustments. I'll do 1 or 2 more laps, but I think that it's hard to explain, but the front is almost understeering on turn-in, but at the same time it's also too soft and giving me it's a bit unstable on turn-in. Yeah, it's understeering at the same time. It's so weird. You usually have understeer or stable on the turn-in. Sorry, you either have understeer and stable or oversteer and unstable on turn-in. Whereas this is like understeering and also being unstable at the same time. It's very weird. So we will need to make a few adjustments to this. I think we'll do 1 or 2 more laps and then adjust it from there. Okay, so improved a bit on that lap, but still I'm not happy with the setup. So I'll do one more lap and then we'll make some more setup changes. Hello mate, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. How you doing? We're just building a setup for Indianapolis because we've got a race on Friday, so started with the default aggressive and just trying to build a setup, which is why my lap time is so slow, because the setup is not great at the moment, but getting there. I really want sim racing setup, not gonna lie. My advice for you, just buy it. Just buy the setup. If you can't afford everything brand new, then see if you can find anything second hand in your area. I don't know where it is that you stay, but if you have like Facebook Marketplace where you are, then that is really good for looking for second-hand gear. And because of COVID, you get really good sim racing deals at the moment, because people bought stuff during COVID lockdown thinking, oh, this is great, I have so much spare time, I'll do some of this sim racing, and they liked it. But now that lockdown's over and that, they realised that they don't actually have time to use it anymore. So there's a lot of people that bought it during lockdown, have used it for a year, and then are just selling it because they don't have time. So you can find really good deals on Facebook Marketplace if you are looking for a setup. Do you have like a gaming console or a PC you can use to play, or do you not have a console at the moment? Because I started with an Xbox and a second-hand Thrustmaster TX that blew up after 6 months, and I used a laptop charger as a power supply because the original power supply blew up, and it still works to this day. I gave it to my dad and it still works with a laptop charger as a power supply. I wouldn't show it to an electrician, but it works fine. But I couldn't afford to buy like a brand new setup like what I've got now back then. But the second hand worked great, because then you find out if you like it or not. Because if you spend a few thousand on a good setup and you don't like it, then you lose a lot of money. Whereas if you spend 200 quid on a second hand setup and you don't like it, then you could probably sell it for 200 quid the next week. And if you do, then then you can just keep upgrading it. But yeah. Oh, you got a PC, nice. So PC is one of the best, is the best gaming platform for sim racing. So you can get so many different wheels and pedals and things like that on the PC side of things. But if you are looking for a setup, I would most definitely recommend that you have a look at Facebook Marketplace, because they just make sure that you go and test it first. Don't buy it and get someone to send it to you. Go and test it first. If it's near you, but it's obviously higher risk. But if it's not a lot of money, like it's 200 quid or something, if it's a good deal, then sometimes it's worth it if it's not being used much. How did it even blow up? I don't know how it blew up, to be honest. I was gaming with, I think, funnily enough, I think I did a bit of driving, then I gave it to my dad, and he had a bit of driving, and then I went and did a bit of driving, and then it blew up. So at first I thought, oh, it had just gotten a bit hot, but it wasn't actually hot. It just stunk. Like, it had a really bad smell. I didn't know what it was. So I did some research on it, and it was the power supply blew up, and apparently that's a common issue, or a fairly common issue, that I was able to find a video on how to fix it. So quite literally, we took out, my dad did most of it, because I didn't know much how to do it. I just found the video and bought the stuff that I needed, and my dad did most of it. But basically we had to take the original power supply out. So at this point I thought the wheelbase was gone and I'd lost my money after like 6 months, but basically we had to take the casing off the wheelbase, which was a nightmare in itself. Finally got the casing off, had to take out the original power supply, like completely get rid of it, and then we got a laptop charger, because I saw this online how to do it, that was the same, I don't know if you call it, like, if it was either the same voltage or the same ampage or something like that, but it was compatible to power the piece, the wheelbase. Got that and basically connected that up to the wheel, and it worked, and it's worked fine ever since. So I don't know what caused the power supply to blow up, but unfortunately it did blow up for one reason or another, and thankfully got it fixed, and then used it for ages until I upgraded to the Moza. I didn't actually upgrade to the Moza until can't have been much longer than was it just, I think it was near the end of, must have been near the end of the last year that I bought the Moza setup. But yeah, definitely recommend the direct drive wheelbases after going from the belt driven, but that would be my advice, is if you are looking for a setup, is to look on FaceBay or something like that. See if you get someone that's not used it much, bought during COVID, doesn't use it anymore and just wants to get rid of it. You'll get a really good deal that way. So let's make a few more setup adjustments, because that, in all honesty, felt rubbish. Front end, it didn't know what it wanted to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften the front roll bar, because the front just felt wrong. In all honesty, it just felt like it didn't know what it wanted to do. I'm going to increase the bump stop rate and bump stop range, and leave the front decrease the front wheel rate by 1, and then I'm going to what was I wanting to do there? I forgot now. That's what it was. I wanted to increase the preload differential, and then I also wanted to, there's something else I wanted to do and I forgot what it was. Lower the bump stop range on the rear by 2 clicks, and I want to increase the caster by 2 clicks as well, and I will go out and test that now, see if that improves it. I forgot to save that setup before I adjusted it, but oh well. Is Assetto Corsa good for beginners or not? Well, you've got the original Assetto Corsa. That's really good if you like mods and stuff. You can literally get a dinosaur mod, and you can drive a dinosaur. You can literally get anything, any car, any track, and even some. You can literally race a shed. Like, some guy made a mod and you can race a shed, or you can race a go-kart, or the guy that makes the ballast liveries, he made a mod that you can download, and it is a pram that's a go-kart that you sit in. So that's quite fun if you like mods and stuff that you can download. But the Assetto Corsa that we were driving, Assetto Corsa Competizione, this is just GT3 cars, GT4 cars, but most people just drive GT3. There's a few cup cars and stuff like that, but the main cars that people drive are the GT3 class. So if you like GT3 cars, then Assetto Corsa Competizione is a good simulator. Is it good for beginning? I can't really say. I would say that it is, because you have a lot of beginner leagues and there's so many people on this simulator that you have so many different splits. So even if you're just starting out, you should be able to find a split with people that are the same pace as you, so you can always have people to race with. But if you don't really like the GT cars, then maybe something like Race Room would be something you would enjoy more, because you have, the graphics aren't as good on Race Room, but you have a lot wider range of car choices and track choices. Rensport is coming out in, I don't know when, but like a year or two. Really looking forward to that. That's the Rensport esports championships are already out, but the game isn't open to like the public yet, if that makes sense. It's still in closed beta stage, so I'm looking forward to that. iRacing is another good one, but it is expensive, so if you're just starting out, unless you have a lot of spare money, I wouldn't recommend iRacing to start with, but it is a good simulator, but it's just very expensive. But I would definitely, if you're just starting out, I would definitely recommend the Assetto Corsa Competizione that we're racing, if you like the GT cars. And Race Room I would also recommend, but the graphics and things aren't quite as good. But yeah, I personally started with Project Cars 2, but that a lot of people play it for fun now, but not many people play it for like professional competitions. There isn't really any esports series on it anymore, unfortunately, which is why I stopped playing it, because there wasn't any esports for it. Hello Sparky, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. How you doing, mate? Sorry, I just saw your message there. Okay, setup feels slightly better. I've not seemed to have a little bit of a lock up there, but I think that was maybe the cold tires. Good to hear, Sparky. Yeah, all good here. Your CPU is at 92 degrees. Do you have like a custom fan curve or something that you can increase your fans, or does your PC need to clean or something? That seems extremely hot, or is it just hot where you are? Because like here it's, I think, possibly the hottest day we've had this year, and I was working today. It was very, very hot outside. It's cooled down now, thankfully. What would be your dream setup? I don't know, to be honest. With the setup I've got right now, I'm actually quite happy with, because from this point on, you do get some you would then be probably going into like motion stuff. That would be the next big thing. I've already got a direct drive wheelbase and load cell pedals, so it would more just be higher max torque on the wheelbase and higher no worries, Grandad, thanks for tuning in. Catch up later. But yeah, I mean, like, I could get better pedals, I guess, but the biggest thing would be that they would be harder to press and things like that, because they are already load cell. It would maybe, the next thing would maybe be if they were like hydraulic. That would be quite an upgrade. The only thing I think I would upgrade with the wheel would be like one with the screen and everything. Like, you get like some F1 replica wheels and GT3 car replica wheels. They would be really nice to have one of them. Because Moza released one, an F1 wheel with a screen and everything on it. Do you want to know when they released it? 1 week after I bought this one. 1 week. So I'll maybe buy that in the future, I don't know. I would definitely upgrade the rig to an aluminium rig. I don't particularly have like a dream aluminium rig. It would just be any aluminium rig. Probably the GT Omega Titan, I think it. No, not Titan. Prime. Because I've already got the GT Omega Titan rig and know it's decent. And I would probably just get a Prime one again. Because I know someone else that has the Prime rig and I know it's decent, and I already have a chair that's compatible, sort of thing. So it just makes sense to get another one of another GT Omega one. I would definitely, I think, if it was like my dream setup, I would maybe upgrade the streaming gear, like get a stream deck and a camera, and maybe upgrade the PC. But I mean, as regards like the actual wheel and pedals, I would have to upgrade by quite a bit to notice a significant difference, if that makes sense. Because it is already a direct drive and load cell pedals, it would be quite an upgrade to actually be worth it, if that makes sense. I have seen like some of the simulators the F1 teams use, and they look really, really nice, but when it's like pulling your head back for G-forces and that, it's so close to reality. Like, I'd rather spend the money on a real racing go-kart or something like that if it was that kind of money. Because I'm sure some of their simulators are like hundreds of thousands. But the setup I've got just now, I'm really happy with. It's perfect for what I do. The only thing that I'm looking to upgrade in the future, in the coming months, I'm looking to buy another 2 monitors, because I've got a triple monitor stand, but I only have 1 monitor at the moment. So in a few months I'll buy the other 2 when I can afford it. But I don't really want to buy one at a time, because I think that would be pointless. So I'm waiting, and they're full price right now, whereas I bought the first one in the sale, so I'm just going to wait till they come in the sale and then buy both at the same time. Because I think when I bought mine, I got like 100 quid off in the sale. Yeah, well, it's amazing like how some drivers use the simulators to train and things like that, and then you can go straight to real life. It shows you the principles of how to drive and things like that in a simulator are the same as real life. You just don't have, or very similar, you just don't have the risk factor in a sim. Like, if I crash into a wall now, nothing happens. Whereas if I crash in real life, I would have to pay for the car, I could risk getting hurt, things like that. It would cost the team a lot of money to fix the car and repair. Whereas in the sim, you don't have that risk. The other thing is with real life is you have the G-forces and things like that. You can feel the car, whereas in the simulators you only have the force feedback coming through the wheel to tell you what the tyres are doing. That is changed if you have a motion rig. You can feel what the car is doing a lot more if you have a motion rig, but that, I think minimum you're talking a couple £1,000 for a motion simulator. So I think, although I think it was Jimmy Broadbent who said about how it was easier to go from a sim to a real car than it was for real car drivers to go to a simulator, because sim racing you have a lot less forces, because you don't have the G-forces and things like that you do in real life. So it's actually easier. I found the same when I started karting. I found it actually easier to know what the kart was doing than I did in the simulator, because I did a bit of karting simulators as well. I found it so much more easier in real life, whereas drivers that have just done real life stuff coming into sim racing will probably find it a lot harder, because they don't have G-forces and things like that. They've just got to rely on the force feedback coming through the wheel. So yeah, I think some drivers like Super GT, that's how they can go from a sim to real life, because they actually have more forces to know what the car is doing. And the braking points, the turning points, the acceleration points are all very, very similar from the simulator to real life. I think James Baldwin was the one that said how the ACC was very similar to real life. I think he said that the thing he struggled with more was the wet. I think he said something about how he struggled a bit with the wet. That wasn't simulated very well in the simulators compared to real life, but in the dry it felt very similar. I'm going to make a few more setup adjustments, because I'm not happy with that at the moment. Right, let's go out and try this. Do I have any races? Do I have any races near Exeter anytime soon? I'm just trying to look on Google Maps and find out exactly where that is. Oh, in Devon. Exeter as in Devon, near Southampton and that. Is that the right one? Yeah. I don't think so, because I'm doing the I've basically got 2 real life competitions that I'm doing at the moment. So right now I've got the karting British Indoor Karting Championship. The qualifiers for that are at my local track, which is Dundee. That's the closest track to me. And I'm trying to qualify for that. It's looking good at the moment, but there's like 3 months until qualifiers are over, so it's looking good at the moment, but I won't know until, I think it's, what are we, June, July, I think end of August the qualifiers close. So I don't know if I'll qualify for the British Indoor Karting Championship or not. I hope I do, but I won't know until end of August. The other real life championship I'm doing is the Team Hard Racing Scholarship. There's a scholarship that if you win this scholarship, it's £150,000 it's worth, and you get a seat in the Audi S3 touring car, and you race in the British Endurance Cup, which is the same championship that Jimmy Broadbent did in the Praga, but just a different class of car, because obviously he raced in the Praga class. The Audi S3 would be the touring car class, but it's the same championship, just a different car class. So that is the prize for the scholarship. So I'm going down to it's near Sheffield, the track, I think it's Blyton Park or something, that this competition takes place. So I think there's like a maximum of like 120 people, and the top 10 get invited back, and the top 10 get invited back, and then whoever's best out of them wins a scholarship, sort of thing. So I will be going down to that at the end of November. I'm not expecting to win the scholarship, but I would like to do it just for the experience, and because you get assessed on your fitness, your driving, your media, how you would be like in interviews and stuff. They even assess that. It would be quite a good experience, and also would allow me to see what I need to work on as well, for if I do get the chance to do any real life racing. So yeah, how do you qualify for races for indoor karts? Well, it depends if you have any team sport go-kart tracks near you. So the Dundee track is a team sport go-kart track, and they run the British Indoor Karting Championship. So if you go on bikc.com, you should be able to find all the tracks that you can qualify at, and you have to have a Grid Elite membership, which costs 35 quid a year. That gives you your entry for the British Indoor Karting Championship, and then over the next 3 months you need to visit the kart track that you've registered at least 3 times, and then you can go as many times as you want, but you have to go at least 3 times, and then your 3 best lap times are put together to create an average lap time, and then I think it's the top 24 from each track have a final at that track, and then the top however many from each track go to the final, sort of thing. But yeah, you should be able to have a look if there's an indoor karting track near you, if they're run by Team Sport, or if you go on bikc.com, you should be able to find out if there's a track near you can qualify at. But yeah, I was just lucky it was so close, to be honest, because there's the fastest rental karts in Scotland can do like 70 mile an hour on an outdoor track, and that's a number of hours away from me, but they do a rental karting championship, and I was thinking of possibly doing that, but it's quite a bit more money. And then this thing in Dundee came up, which was even better because it was a lot closer. No worries, Sparky. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if you get your PC sorted, by the way. You don't want that overheating. Oh, that was such a terrible line. That entire first sector was absolutely terrible. Setup feels better, I just had a terrible driving. I either mess up my setup or mess up my driving. Yeah, so see if you get a Sparky, see if you get like compressed air. That's supposed to be really good. I've got a can of it. If you just like open up the like side panel and front panel and just use some compressed air. Be careful like going too close to any connections if it's quite powerful, but I've just got a can, so it's not super powerful, and you can just use that to blow out some of the dust. Be careful using anything like a Hoover or anything, because that can be quite dangerous using a Hoover on your PC. You're better with like a small can of compressed air. I gotta go now, mate. No worries, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Nice stream though, we'll definitely be back. Awesome. Hopefully we'll stream tomorrow night, but the race will be on Friday night. So if you want to tune in for the race, it should be 8 PM UK time. But thanks everyone for tuning in. I think I'll just finish up this lap and then finish up the stream there. And I'll do some more setup work tomorrow. Oh, that's a lockup. We'll finish up there. The setup feels much better. I just need to get the laps together. But that felt decent. I just need to make some more setup adjustments to make it perfect. But I haven't even touched the dampers yet, and the dampers make quite different. So tomorrow I'll probably start with the dampers and then do a few more adjustments. So I'll get that done tomorrow. On Friday, by the way, guys, if the stream is a bit late or doesn't have a thumbnail, I do apologise in advance, but I have an exam on the Friday at like 1:30, so I'll probably not be getting back home till like an hour and a half before the race, so I might end up running out of time to make a thumbnail or anything. So just apologising in advance, but I might be able to get it done on Thursday night or something, I don't know. But yeah, Sparky, just let me know. Hopefully you get it sorted. Hopefully it's just needing a good clean out. That's unless it's something to do with thermal paste or that, but hopefully it's just cleaning out the fans and that. But yeah, as always guys, thank you for watching. Next stream will be tomorrow night, probably trying to think now, probably around like 8:30 UK time. And then sorry for tonight being such a short stream, by the way guys, but yeah, probably 8:30 tomorrow night, and then no stream Thursday night, but we'll be streaming Friday night the race. So yeah, as always guys, thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you again next time.